Hello Year 5, Miss Ryan here. I hope you are well and welcome to your Monday guided reading lesson. Now we're going to be having a look at a non-fiction text and we're going to have a bit of a pre-read through a page of it today. We're going to be introducing a bit more a little bit later on in the week. So let's get into it.
I want to start off by giving a few shout outs to some children in each of the classes for doing some amazing work for their guided reading chilies last week, really using their skills of vocabulary to answer these questions. So well done all of you. I'm going to be awarding you all 2 Jojo points for aspiration. Now let's get on to today's video. So today we are going to have a look at a new text and we're going to be looking at the focus of explain this week. So we're looking at the skill focus of explain. So the learning objective is to explain and discuss your understanding of text, maintaining a focus on the topic using notes where necessary. So that's where we're using facts from the text. So let's have a look at the starter task. What is this and where is it? So pause the video here and have a think about those 2 questions for me. Okay, welcome back. Hope you've had a think about those 2 questions and now let's have a look at the answers. Now, what is it? Now, this is the International Space Station. And where is it? It's in space currently, orbiting Earth. I don't know whereabouts it is in orbit currently, but I know it is orbiting the Earth. Okay, let's check your prior knowledge. Where is Liam at the start of Cosmic? Pause the video here and have a think about that question for me. Okay, welcome back. Hope you've had some time to think about that question. Now, Liam is on a rocket in space, which is what we found out when Mr. Philpott started reading the book. How could we help Liam survive in the rocket? What could we learn here on Earth to help Liam up in the rocket in space? Pause the video here and have a think about the types of things we could do to help Liam. Hope you've had some time to think about that question. Now, these are a few things I thought about. We could get help from astronauts like Tim Peake, like we're doing for the diary entry, or we could use fiction text to find out key information. So that is what we're going to be doing today. That is what we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be having a look at a few fiction texts to look at the types of things we could do. And that is what we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be having a look at a few fiction texts to find out how to survive in space. This is how I thought we could help Liam. So we could get help from astronauts like Tim Peake, because we're obviously finding out lots of information about how it was when he was an astronaut, when he went to the ISS, or we could use non-fiction text to find out key information. And once we find out all this information, then we can obviously compile it together and then explain the information to Liam later on. So let's have a look at these tricky words. I'm going to say them and I want you to repeat after me. So we've got satellites, weightlessness, manipulator, astronauts, and telescope. Now, what is the root word in the word living? Pause the video here for me. That's right, it is the word live. We've dropped the E and add ing on the end. And now, what is the spelling rule you can see in the word called? Pause the video here for me. Welcome back. It is the ed ending on the end of called. Well done. Now let's use these tricky words to say, shout, whisper, clap and act it. Like as usual, you won't be able to see my acting, but I would really love to see you send in your acting of these different words. Okay, I'm going to say it, then I want you to repeat after me. Satellites, weightlessness, telescope, manipulator, astronauts. Shout it. Satellites, weightlessness, telescope, manipulator, astronauts. Now we're going to whisper it. Satellites, weightlessness, telescope, manipulator, astronauts. Okay, now we're going to clap it. Remember, clapping is the syllables in the words. Satellites, weightlessness, telescope, manipulator, astronauts. I wonder which one of those words had the most syllables in. Okay, now let's move on and have a look at this text. Now, as I'm reading through the text, write down any new words and define them for me. Now, there's not much on this one page, but there will be more coming later on in the week. So, we've got life in space. The very first people in space only went up in short hops to see what it was like. Today, Astronauts can spend weeks or even months living and working in space, thanks to large satellites called space stations. This picture was taken during a Space Shuttle mission to service the Hubble Space Telescope, which is on the right. This robotic arm is a part of the shuttle's remote manipulator system, in brackets, the RMS. And then people grow about 5 centimetres or 2 inches taller when they are in space. Goodness me, that's a lot. Okay, let's have a think about a question now. So how do you think astronauts survive in space? What do you think they need? What is a necessity when they're in space? So I want you to start your question off with, I think astronauts need, give me an example of something, because. If you can try and write as many things that you think an astronaut might need, that would be fantastic. Okay, now it's your turn, off you go, and I can't wait to see all your think question answers.
I'm going to carry on reading Cosmic. Florida's brother is 3. He's got loads of curly hair, and when we picked him up from the childminders, he was wearing an anorak with a hood pulled up, really tight around his head, carrying a stick. He's a knight at the moment, said Florida. The hood is his helmet, the stick is his sword. If I tell him you're a dragon, he will kill you. The little boy held my hand. What's your name? I said to him. Orlando. My mum and dad went there on their honeymoon. Orlando in America. That's where Disney World is, and SeaWorld, and the Magic Kingdom. This place I won tickets for, it's better than all of those places. How do you know? Because it's got this ride called the Rocket. It's the greatest ride in the history of the world. Why don't you go with your own dad? He doesn't want to. Anyway, I'm the dad. That's the whole point. Liam, look, you look a little bit older for your age, but no one's going to really think you're my dad. I'm only 3 months younger than you, and you don't act like a dad. Dads don't steal fast cars. I didn't steal it. I sat in it. Anyway, I've been studying. Liam, what are you on about? I've been getting dad skills. I've made a scientific study of my dad. I've copied all the playlists of his iPod onto my phone. Look, Oasis, Oasis, Oasis and Oasis. I've learned the lyrics to all their songs. I can sing like a dad. Listen. What? I've been monitoring his conversations and his lifestyle too, so I can talk like a dad. Want to hear? I already know what a dad sounds like. Dad says, what time will you be home? Don't be late. I'll come and pick you up. She turned to face me. My dad takes an interest. He takes care of me. If I go off to some theme park, he is going to notice. I butted in. Now, I've thought of that. I've written 2 letters. I got them out of my Little Stars folder to show her. One's supposed to be from your mum to the school saying you've had to have your appendix out. The other one, which is on proper school note paper, is from the head of year saying you've been specially selected for a gifted and talented trip to the Lake District. We were turning the corner into the little close. A couple of lads were playing football and Ibiza was sitting on a wall. This must be Florida's house, and I still hadn't persuaded her. She was opening the door now and letting Orlando and Ibiza in. I wondered if her dad was in, but no. He's busy, she said. Real dads are, you know. She closed the door on me. To be honest, this was proving harder than I'd expected. I gave it one last shot. I pushed the school letter through the letterbox and shouted in after it. Read it! It's brilliant! As you may be aware, Waterloo High has for a long time had a relationship with the South Lake Activity Centre near Kendal. The possibility has arisen for some specially selected Year 7 pupils to attend a gifted and talented course at the centre. Activities at the centre include kayaking, abseiling, walking, pond dipping, dry stone walking and nature studying. Your child is one of the very few chosen for this place on the scheme, which will be fully funded by an educational authority. It will be free. We strongly urge you to allow your children to benefit from this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Please sign the form below. After a couple of minutes, Florida opened the door again. I thought she'd be impressed. She said, all this to go on a ride? Well, there's more than one ride, and the park's not in Bootle, you know. You have to get there. All the transport's sorted, though. I think they're sending a limo. A limo? Like a real limo? Now she's interested. Yeah, a limo. You know, like a celebrity. Where is this theme park, then? I said, well, you know, it's down south. You'll need a passport for ID and stuff. You have got one, haven't you? I waited. Eventually said, I'll think about it. I think it was a good strategy just to say down south and not how far down south. I didn't say it was quite a long way down south, and I certainly didn't mention it was a really long way east in China. We're on a new chapter. Hello, lucky winners. It's no good just talking like a dad, you have to dress like one too. So on Monday night, I had a look in his wardrobe. Dad wears the same jeans every day except Sunday, even though he owns 4 pairs. 1 pair is too tight on the waist, and 1 was from when he was trying to wear more interesting colours. They were an unusual shade of custard. They would have been a good buy for a chameleon planning to hide in a trifle. I knew Dad wouldn't miss them, so I took them along with Talk to Your Teen, and stuck them in a special waterproof outdoor activities backpack Mum bought me, thinking I was going to the lakes. At 7:20 on Tuesday morning, I texted Florida, "Limo's here." 10 minutes later, she was knocking at the door. "Where's this limo then?" she hissed. "I knew you were making it up." "Hello, Florida," said Dad. "Are you going on this trip too then?" "Yes, Mr. Digby." "I'm cooking some bacon," said Dad. "Do you want a bit while you're waiting for the minibus?" "Minibus?" said Florida, glaring at me. But just as she did, the transport arrived. It slid round the corner like a glossy shark, a long black limo. "Blimey," Dad whistled. "School geography trips have changed a bit since my day." "It's not a geography trip," said Mum. "It's for gifted and talented pupils. Didn't you read the letter?" "Yeah, but I didn't know he was that gifted or that talented. And I didn't know Florida was gifted at all." Florida snarled. Mum said, "Of course she's talented. Don't you remember? She was Sophie the Big Friendly Giant. She remembered all her lines." "What's that smell?" "Oh," said Dad, "my bacon." He ran back into the kitchen. A man was getting out of the limo now and opening the back passenger door. People up and down the street were looking out their front doors and peering from behind their curtains. Florida said, "Let's go." I said yeah, and kissed Mum and shouted goodbye to Dad. Then we climbed to the back of the limo. I looked back for a second at my mum and Dad in the doorway with bacon smoke blowing out of the door and from behind them the smoke alarm blasting away. Mum shouted, "Look after him, Florida!" And I said, "See you!" I didn't think then that maybe I wouldn't see them again and that would be my last sight of them. I've thought about it since though. It wasn't some headnight stretch limo, by the way. It was a nice black Audi Quattro. There was a really polite sat-nav. Dad's sat-nav goes, "Left, right, stop." And it sounds like an alien stormtrooper who has hijacked your car. This one had a fluty girl's voice and it said, "Please" and "Thank you." The driver had a special cap and grey uniform. His name was Barney. There were 2 big paper bags on the back seat. "Goodie bags," said Barney. "Just like at the Oscars, eh?" If limo had a magical effect on Florida, you should have seen what Oscars did. Apparently when celebrities go to the Oscars or whatever, they're all given a bag full of complimentary products. Today, as Florida very quickly pointed out, we were the celebrities. She leaned back on her seat and looked out at the streets we were leaving behind. "I wonder," she said, "what the ordinary people are doing today." Then she started rooting around in her goodie bag. She found a brand new 4th generation Drax Communications phone, a Draxcom watch, Draxcom sunglasses, and a Draxcom t-shirt, a box of chocolates with a Draxcom logo in the front, and a little pink Game Maiden, which was like a girly Game Boy made by Draxcom. I got the phone and the goodie bag too. It was pretty cosmic. It had Draxworld on it, and Draxcall, which lets you use bits of video instead of ringtones. Florida made a video ringtone of a crowd of people in a studio, all clapping and cheering and calling her name, as though she was a guest on a chat show. The rest of the grown-ups goodie bag was different though. Instead of chocolates and stuff, I got a voucher for a car hire company, a little book about golf courses, and a thing like a blue credit card that helps you work out your stress level. Mine said, "Relaxed." The sat-nav said, "Now, as we cruise along the bypass, let's take a moment to listen to a message from your host, Dr. Drax. Hello, lucky winners! I cannot wait to see you all at our secret headquarters, and I hope you're having a comfortable journey. I ran this competition for fathers because I believe fathers have a lot to give. My father, for instance, gave me the Drax Communications Company for my 12th birthday. Bye now, and see you at a secret location very, very soon." It turned out that even though Florida knew the names of every single person who had been on a reality TV show, she had never heard of Dinah Drax. How can you not have heard of Dinah Drax? You've got Draxworld on your phone. I didn't know Drax was a person. I thought it was just like a word, like phone or Mercedes. Mercedes is a person. She was a daughter of a man who designed the car. Never heard of her either. She's not a celebrity, is she? Otherwise she'd be in magazines, wouldn't she? Lots of people are famous who are not in your magazines. Like who? I made a list. It was completely amazing how many very famous people Florida had never heard of. For instance, Rob Pardo, Jeff Kaplan, and Tom Chilton. She'd never heard of them, even though they invented World of Warcraft and revolutionised online game playing. Tolkien, cosmic author of Lord of the Rings. No, she got confused between Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, and Buzz Lightyear, a toy. She recognised Hitler's second name, but she thought his first name was Heil. Barney gave a little snort when he heard that. Florida snapped, "Excuse me, what are you But she wasn't able to finish a sentence. She just said, "Wow." We had just driven into a field, and there on the grass, where you might expect to see a cow, was a big red aeroplane. "That," said Florida, "is a Learjet, as flown by John Travolta." Barney smiled. "You may not know much about world leaders of the 20th century, but you're definitely up to date with your celebrity transport." "Whose is it?" asked Florida. "For today," said Barney. "It's yours." I did think going on a plane might make Florida suspicious about where Infinity Park was, but she was so thrilled by the celebrityness of it all that she forgot to wonder where it was going to take her. In fact, before the car had even stopped, she was somehow standing on the steps of the plane. I said thank you for the lift and tried to make myself look as dadly as possible. I grabbed a newspaper out the seat pocket and stuck it under my arm and brushed my hair forward. I definitely felt older. When I got near Florida, she spread out her arms and grinned at me. I couldn't figure out what she thought she was going to do. Then she hissed, Take photos with your phone. It's what dads do." "My dad doesn't." "Well, mine does. He's like my own personal paparazzi." "Paparazzo. Paparazzi is when there's more than one. And he doesn't correct everything I say either." And we're now on a new chapter called Competitive Dadliness, and I shall see you tomorrow for our next guided reading lesson. Stay safe.